Since 1965, there is a net decline of productivity in the world, but people are telling us that the unemployment. So I can say I don't understand how we can say that there is a net decline, a physical decline since 1965. I don't understand what Lyndon LaRouche has just said.
De la productivité. Or, on nous dit.
I don't understand because we are saying to me that since unemployment is the consequences of higher productivity or new technology. We have more and more unemployment because we are more and more productive and we have more and more technology. So I don't really understand what Lyndon LaRouche just saying.
Sur la question de la productivité.
About productivity, we have to see what we are talking about. What is gross national product? Productivity, even some US economists, mainstream US economists acknowledge that everything depends what we put in the formula to calculate it. So there's a productivity based on theoric working hour about supposedly employed people, and on production based on potentials, which is a measure of productivity where we are including the value of a computer produced in the past with a cost that has changed, so we manipulated the data to get better statistics. So with this, statistically, there is an increase of productivity, but in fact, of what? About market values. And productivity based on working hours decreased because of unemployment. So it seems, in monetary terms, that productivity is increasing. Reality is totally different. I answer in French because the question was in French.
In terms of a physical economy, what is productivity? Productivity, the capacity of human beings to produce things that are more dense, that have more density in terms of energy, in terms of technology, and that produce more per capita, per unity of surface, per hectare or per square kilometer, and also per the material used for this production. So in that sense, you have a drama, a tragedy in our times, that you have this apparent productivity on one side and no real productivity in reality, given what the human being is doing to secure a future for the future generations. There is no basis for that in terms of the discoveries and the technologies brought into the society. There is no basis for the future at this point. So that's why the British, who take things as face value and as statistics, say that the only way is to reduce the population. They discard the discoveries and the improvements in the human mind, and they said, given the present situation, we should reduce the population, and the extremists said to 1 billion persons on Earth from 7 that we are now. So that's the way that this reduction of population is played by this British or this Anglo-American since the studies of the Forrester Meadows model and the Club of Rome. So the paradox is that they are saying on one side that there is apparent increase in productivity, and on the other side, that means for the future cannot be produced, and we have to reduce population. So this is a farce on their side. What's happening is that the potential for discovery of the human mind is not fostered. You have not a society where the capacity of the human mind to enter into new realms, discover new principles, and exert its capacity to change a situation from a higher level. From the level where we are, two things appear to be contradictory. If you go to a higher level, is what Nicolas von Kues mentioned, as the coincidentia oppositorum, la coïncidence des opposés, as they say in French, which means that from this higher level, things that seem contradictory at a lower level become, at a higher level, things that is where the discovery takes place, because you are beyond the contradiction at a lower level. So this is the basis, for example, of what Lyndon LaRouche mentions always, is our relation in language with Mars, which is at the speed of light. It doesn't work to have some type of immediate relation. It creates a new relation between what we have put on Mars and us. So this communication at the speed of light is what measures the capacity, in fact, in the future to have more developed and more far-reaching things that will secure a future for humanity. And if you look at productivity from that standpoint, what you see is that the investments in such aspects of a society have not and are not developed within the present monetary system. They are incompatible with the present monetary system. Now, something else, which is the key to what's happening in the economies since at least the 1970s and the break between the dollar and gold in 1971, which is that little by little you have organized a general deregulation where you can produce money at random if you have the power to produce that money. So that money is no more backed by real assets and by real production. So if you want to look at productivity from that side, then you have a much more real way to understand and to look for what we're talking about. What then happens is that certain discoveries have been made in the realm of electronics and in the realm of what they call in French informatique, or the computer section of the economy. So what is done with that? It's not used, or it's not used mainly to support industry, to support science, and to support technology, in particular to support technology and industry. What these computer developments are used for is to establish costs. And the computer developments have been mobilized for a cost-cutting policy where the reduction of the capacity, reduction of labor, and the reduction of wages look like profitable, and thanks to the computers, you can harass people throughout their work and to make them so-called more productive. But this is not productivity. It's social harassment. It's very different. And it doesn't produce a society where there is an increase of the qualified labor. It produces a society where you are cornered the labor potential and you have blocked it. And that's why people say who run this system, they say that you have to reduce population. If you want to look at it from the standpoint of what's happening, is that you have three things that work together. The first is these discoveries in the computer systems, which go in cahoots with an economy based on social cuts and destruction of the justice principle in economics. And the third, the directionality towards war. And if you look at these three things together, you look that it's very immediate and it's here and now that you have this danger of war. And war is when you use the discoveries of the past, and there are no more discoveries in the future, and you use these discoveries of the past just to smash people in a condition where there is a contraction of the economy. And this is exactly what's happening now and what Mr. Larouche refers to. So if we don't change the very basis of this economy, if we don't really restart a real productivity in the way I tried to describe it, if you don't do that, you have a sort of fatality of war. And this is what we have to change, because such a fatality is contrary to the human existence and the human history.